Hi, this is Sue from Enchained Treasures, and this is an emo hair and makeup tutorial. Just kidding. This is crocheted wire for Halloween. And my look is inspired by Tree's mom of Expert Village, and her idea that everybody considers these goth, which, I don't know if you could see all the plastic skulls, and actually this is onyx right here, carved onyx. I'd consider, if it's goth, it could also be emo or punk. Just because it's black with skulls on it does not make it goth. I'm redoing her video just because they had posted about 20 videos, a minute or two each, on YouTube and eHow, and they're all out of order, so it was really hard for me to follow. I am a beginner crocheter. I normally do chainmail. See this? I would consider goth. There's some humor with the bloody hearts, and then the Valentine's Day heart, and the cabochon, and yeah. But anywho, we're gonna do this Halloween tutorial. I found her video to be a little bit too hard for beginners, and of course it was hard to follow, so I've altered it a bit. This is the one that I made. It's not perfect, but it's more me. It's a cuff, and it's got the onyx bead and some howlights sporadically throughout, and this seed beads border on the top and the bottom. To me, you would probably find this bracelet worn by a 14-year-old who can't get into a golf club. This to me is a little bit more older. It's a little bit more fancier, maybe. And I've also done the single crochet. I won't be teaching that. This is by Michaels. You can go to any Michaels and learn how to do the single crochet. Necklace you see here. I work there, so I cannot teach you how to do that. Basically what you're going to need today is crochet hook. You don't need any specific type besides maybe a J or a K or larger hook. The larger the hook, the bigger the loops in your piece. I'm going to need a clasp, which I have these nice black ones with little crystals. And you're going to need beads. Specifically, I have today these silver skulls here. And I also have, I think this is made out of bone, or maybe carnelian skull. Kind of nice. And I also have these carnelian chips that I will be adding. I think a skull got mixed in there. Then you'll also need some random black findings to attach your clasp. And I have those silver seed beads again. Okay, you're going to need a 16 or 18 gauge black wire. Maybe 20 would work, but any larger and it's going to be hard for you to work with as a beginner, and you won't be able to get beads onto the wire. The higher the gauge, the smaller the wire. You're also going to need snips or side cutters to cut your wire. Here's also a ruler. Well, I mentioned how I altered her design a bit because it's very hard to be a beginner and learn how to do double crochet, like this one here. That took me a while to figure out. I had just learned single crochet at Michaels, which is all we teach because that's hard enough for a beginner. So basically, I'm going to kind of take the middle ground and teach you how to do double crochet with 2 rows instead of all 4 or 5 rows of her original cuff. And then you're going to attach them together. Okay, first step is you're going to take your wire and you're going to leave about an inch at the end, and you're going to wrap it around your hook. Then you're going to twist it a couple times. Now we don't need a normal slip knot because it's wire. It's easy to bend around your hook. Then, with your dominant hand, you're going to hold your hook between your thumb and your forefinger, and with your non-dominant hand, you're going to wrap the wire over the top of the hook. You're going to pull down and through. That's going to create your first little loop there. Now you're going to wrap it around and pull it through again. So every time you pull it through, your hook is on the next loop. And through again. And you're just going to keep doing this until your wire wraps around your wrist. Usually, if you're doing it for somebody else, you want 7.5 to 8 inches. That's a normal size of a bracelet. You might want to go a little bit bigger with this. You could do 8.5 inches. So, just wrapping and pulling. You don't have to make them all conform to the same size. It's actually better if they're not. Sometimes the wire, which can be 16 or 18 gauge, by the way, gets caught, and you have to unwrap it, or sometimes the wire gets all knotted up. Okay, now you're continuing to wrap your wire around your hook. And let's see. My bracelet is now 8.5. So this would be the largest I would want to make it. Okay, don't forget when you're starting your second row to flip your wire around, because then your back side of your row will be on the opposite, will be on the bottom. You'll be working across the top of each loop. So if you started going across and it's going this way, you're going to flip it around like so. Okay, you got that loop on the end. You're basically going to enter into that loop, wrap it around once, and then go through, pointing in a different direction. This time you're heading up. Now what you're going to want to do is leave that loop on, but enter in the second to last loop on the end. And now you have 2 loops around your hook. Now you're going to take the wire to the front of the hook, and you're going to put it through the first loop, and then the second loop. Okay, and now that wire forms a loop on your hook. Now you're going to go into the next one. So you have 2 loops on there. Bring the wire around to the front and loop it through both of those. Okay, you're going to continue doing this all the way down to the end of your bracelet. And if you get confused about which loop you were in before, you can bend your wire up and take a look. And it's always not the one that your wire here is coming out of, but the next one over. Sometimes your loops are a little bit too small, so you want to rub it along the back end of your hook, trying to make it a little bit larger. Just take your pliers and flatten your rows across, like so. Alright, first going to bend them up with your fingers and then going to flatten them out. Now we have 3 double rows of crochet. You're going to want to have more towards the middle than the end, so you could actually make it longer in the middle and shorter on the end, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Mine is going to be kind of like a circle, like an oval design. You're going to want to take some more wire. You're going to measure it with your ruler to about 2 feet, and then snip. Okay, so now you're going to take your 3 double loops and your 2-foot long wire, and you're going to wrap the ends around your wire. So you're going to take the last loop on each end and your new wire and start wrapping. Then you're going to take one of your skull beads, put it on the wire, and then you're going to basically attach 2 loops, one from the middle strand and one from one of the ends, by weaving it through. And you'll see your skull is going to attach itself somewhere in the middle. Doesn't really matter where. You're going to want all of your beads to be facing one side, however. Then you're going to, on the back of your bracelet, come up through one of the loops and attach your third strand to it. So basically you're attaching all 3 strands by a couple loops. Then you're going to take another bead. Doesn't matter if it's a skull or a carnelian, one of your accent beads, but you're going to basically go back down through another loop. Doesn't have to be every single loop. This is not perfect. And then back down through your middle strand. So basically you're attaching those 2 loops, the next 2 loops together. And you're going to come back up through your bracelet on the other side of the middle strand and attach the other side as well. So, don't know if you can see that clearly. And then you're going to find another bead, any bead, and you're going to go back down through a loop on the end in the middle, attaching that bead. Now you may have to rearrange everything so it looks a little bit neater. But as you'll be able to see, your beads are not ending up in any specific pattern. Okay, you're going to attach that bead and go back down through 2 more loops.